So today's lesson is on summary statistics. So let's break these words down that we see on the screen here so that we can understand more what summary statistics are. So what does the word summary mean? Okay, think about what the word summary means. If you give a summary of a story or a summary of an event, what are you doing? Okay, so think about that. Now I want you to write down 3 words that could replace the word summary. So pause it, write down 3 words, and then come back. Okay, so some of the words you may have written down would have been overview, explanation, maybe a brief detail, something like that. Now, what does the word statistics mean? Can you replace it with another word? So pause it, think of one word that you could replace statistics with. So the word you might have come up with is data. Okay, so if I was to replace this phrase, summary statistics, what would I say? What would you write that says the same thing as summary statistics but doesn't use the word summary statistics? For me, what I chose was explanation of data, because that's what summary statistics are. It's an explanation of the data. So let's start with the mean. What is the mean? The mean is the average. So mean equals the average in some data. So let's do some examples. Michael picked up 3 apples, Sarah picked 7, and Timothy picked 2. How many apples did they pick all together? So we add that up. So 3 plus 7 plus 2 gives us 12 apples. Now, they all are going to evenly split the apples between them. Oh, look at that, it says between them twice. How many apples will they each take home? So there's 12 apples and 3 people. So all together, they're going to take 4 apples home each. Now, how did we calculate that? How did we work out how many apples they took home each? If we go back here, the first step we did was to add them all together. So what we do is we add all the numbers together, all the values, and then we divide them by how many numbers or groups of data there are. Okay, so there were 3 groups of data, there were 3 people, so we added our 3 plus 7 plus 2 to get our 12, and then we divided that by 3 because there were 3 lots of data there, 3, 7 and 2. So let's do another example. Year 7 students were surveyed on how many hours they spend on the internet a week. The results are below. 2, 6, 10, 5, 7, 5, 10, 23 and 4. So what is the average, the mean time spent on the internet? Okay, so I want you to pause it. The first thing you do is add all those numbers together and then you divide it by how many numbers there are. Okay, so you should have added all those numbers together and divided it by 9 because there's 9 lots of data. So 72 divided by 9 gives us 8. So our mean time, so on average, most people spend about 8 hours a day on a week on the internet, on average. Median. So what does the median mean? The median is our middle number. So if we have all this data laid out in numerical order, we get our middle value. So here is just some data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now our middle number would make sure that we have an even number of data on either side. So we would have 5 because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 lots of data here and 4 lots of data here, so we know 5 is our middle. Now, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, 12, 15, 16. So we're looking for our middle data here. So we've got an even number. So how do we find the middle? So we've got 8 lots of data here, and half of 8 is 4. So that means that 7 and 11 are our middle data because there's 3 on one side and 3 on the other. But we can't have two numbers as our middle value. So what you do is you're going to add them to, you're going to find the mean of the two numbers. So we're going to find the average of the two numbers. So add them together and divide them by 2. So 7 plus 11 divided by 2. So 18 divided by 2 gives us 9. So our middle number here is 9. So let's do an example, okay? So I'll start you off on this example and then you can finish it off. So again, we're looking at that data about the amount of time spent on the internet in a week. So we want to find the median time spent on the internet. So first thing you need to do is write all the data in numerical order. So in order from the lowest number to the highest number. Okay, so pause it, write it in numerical order, and then see if you can find the middle value. The middle value. So here's our data written in numerical order: 2, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 10, 10, 23. So our middle value is 6. We've got 4 bits of data on one side and 4 bits of data on the other side. So our middle value here is 6. So we say the median number is 6. Okay. Mode. What does mode mean? Mode is most common number. So the one that occurs the most. Now, we'll look at that same data about the amount of time spent on the internet. And we want to find the modal times, or the most common times. So for me, with this amount of data being a small amount of data, I'm going to rearrange it so that they're in numerical order, because then I can easily see where there's double ups or triple ups. So 2, 2, 4, 55, 6, 7, 10, 10, 23. So if I look here, we can see we have 2 5s and 2 10s. So our modal times are 5 and 10. Now you can have more than one common number, okay? So it's the one that occurs the most. Now our last little bit of summary statistics, our last little way of explaining data is our range. Now range is the difference between our highest and lowest values. Okay, so we want to know how far between the two values, or how big a difference is there. So again, we're going to look at that same data, the amount of time spent on the internet, and we're going to find the range for the internet times. So first thing you've got to do, find your lowest and find your highest value. Okay, then what you're going to do is go 23, your highest, take away 2, which is your lowest, and that gives you 22. So the range of time spent on the internet is 22 hours. So that's the difference between the person who spends the most amount of time on the internet and the person who spends the least amount of time on the internet. So the range is 22 hours. So range equals the highest value take away the lowest value. So make sure you've written that in your rules book. So now we're going to do an example where we find all the data. Okay, so we're going to find the mean, mode, median and range of this set of data. So we use a pen because it makes it easy. So we're going to first find the mean of the number of televisions in a home. Okay, so here, 2 people have 0 televisions. That means so far we've got 0 televisions. Here, 1, that's 1 television, 2 televisions, 3 televisions, 4 televisions, 5 televisions, 6 televisions. So 6 televisions. Here, one person has 2 televisions. Another person has 2 televisions. So we add these up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Now, we know that one dot represents one bit of data. Okay, we're not counting how many dots there are. We want to know how many televisions there are. So this represents one person with 2 televisions. This represents one person with 3 televisions. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 22, missed tipping, 21, 24, 27, 28, and that doesn't make sense, Miss Tipping. What have you done? I can't count today. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33. That's better. Oh, that's an awful 3, but we'll go with it. And then here we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Very hard to do with this pen. 5, 10, 15, 20. I've got lots of 20s. This is 6, and then this is 8. So if we add all of those numbers together, and then we divide them by how many lots of data there are, so how many dots there are, you're going to get the value 2.8. Now, let's go the mode. So the most common number here is very easy to tell because it's the highest column, so 3. Then we're going to find the median, okay? So we're going to add all the dots together, or how many. First we're going to see how many dots there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 18, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So we're looking for the 20th and 21st number because we're looking for the middle numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So these here are our middle numbers. So if we were to add 3 plus 3 and divide it by 2, we're going to get 3. And the very last thing you need to do is your range. So 8 take away 0 gives us 8, and that is how you do you find all of this data, the summary statistics. So